when we were talking about Neil Long's article, because he like kind of went deep into what was happening at Supercell, where everyone was going from Space Ape. And all of a sudden this thing pops up and they were like, Supercell is teasing a new title called Boat Game. It must be a working title. And I was like, what on earth is this? I only could find a trailer. It's super secretive, small alpha testing, but tried to get some information. It was described as an innovative player experience with strategic naval battles, exploration, and multiplayer elements. And some of the feature sets are character customization, loadouts, skill trees, sailing mechanics, island exploration, and multiplayer on-foot third-person shooting elements. That's as much as I got. The trailer was super vague. It did not give me any idea of the proper gameplay. But maybe I was looking at the long trail. I don't know. Phil, what did you see about it?
I've actually played it.
How did you play it? Are you like you're in the VIP group?
In the alpha?
I got into the alpha. The key is not to use your deconstructor fun email.
That's how I'm in the alpha for Project Rise.
Well, listeners actually don't know right now, but Mishka's off-screen yelling Battle Bay repeatedly, if you remember Rovio's ill-fated project. This one, I think, is different than Battle Bay for a number of reasons. It actually takes a lot from Moko, which is the RPG that they've been testing for a while. And if you actually remember a while back, Ilka in one of his letters talked about the need for Supercell to get games into the hands of players faster, even when they're a little bit rougher. Paul Graham, of course, is famous for saying, if you're not embarrassed to ship, you ship too late. And I think they've really taken that advice to heart. And this is a much earlier game than I think we've seen a lot of Supercell games. It definitely is, again, taking a lot of those Moko assets. Maybe the Supercell engine's flexing a little bit. They have a Path of Exile style skill tree with a bunch of different nodes, which is pretty interesting. You're able to add gear to your boat and upgrade it. You're able to add gear to your character and upgrade it. The loop is kind of interesting. What ends up happening is you spawn into a social hub. You boat into these different shards or these worlds. It's almost like a servered instance. You explore the shard. You will find missions and you'll try to complete those missions while you're in the shard. When you complete a mission, you'll get a chest. You take the chest back to your boat and then you go back to the main social hub and you'll open the chest with a locksmith and you'll get some rewards. Very MMO-ish. It's probably one of the more ambitious titles I've seen from Supercell. I think, again, the engine's really flexing here. They've really been fascinated with more sync PvP on-screen virtual analog sticks in their last releases. Squad Busters, Brawl Stars, Flood Rush to some degree. And they keep moving in this direction, which I find interesting. They've kind of backed away from kind of the more tactical, Clash Mini, Everdale, to more real-time action, which I found pretty interesting.
This is like a PC game. This is like a Guild Wars game. It's really bizarre.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem to belong on mobile.
If you had told me this was Supercell, I wouldn't have guessed, to be honest.
I think what they're seeing, especially with Brawl Stars, because the Brawl Stars audience is so young, that the first device that I think a lot of younger people have is their mobile device, right?
Yes.
This is where they're doing their gaming at home, right? It's not just on the go. I'm gaming at home and I'm having longer sessions. And so I think you're seeing more traditional experiences come into play. I mean, Roblox is the greatest example of this. Right. And so this to me is them gearing around that generation. Is like, for mobile is going to be your first device. You're going to have more intensive, real time, cohesive experiences that you don't need to have 3 minutes. It's not about filling the gaps anymore in your life. I think that was the original free to play thesis, right? Is that I'm on the elevator, I'm playing Candy Crush, I'm on the train, I'm playing Merge Mansion, whatever it may be. It's filling the dead space in your life. And I think this is much different. This is a much different approach.
I don't know if this text is your name. It says, Bodie McBoatface's speedier cousin. It was born to be fast. It'll do anything its cousin can do, but faster.
Yeah, the IP is kind of fun. It's a little wacky.
I
think the IP is going to go over. I think the IP was pretty last minute, but it's kind of funny.
I mean, that's very on brand for them. The playful, funny, quirky style, very cartoony.
It's not set in the Clash universe. That's the other thing I'd point out. It's good to see them expand
different
outside
characters,
of that.
right?
Correct.
I'm going to just say this. I don't know why I sit here and try not to bag on Supercell, but this game just is a complete mismatch of markets, right? So multiplayer MMO style games where you're leveling up characters is not the right match for the Western markets. Like that does well in Japan, Korea. That doesn't do well here. This is like just
Roblox seems to do pretty well.
Not on.
This is not Roblox.
This has a similar UX.
you're causing the problem by suggesting that Roblox is similar to this. It's not, right? Roblox is a completely different experience for a different audience.
Correct. The similarity is that about 80% of Roblox's audience is on mobile. That's where the similarities end, in my opinion here.
I'm only referring to the UX of Roblox, where you're using 3D worlds and 3D space to move between different locations rather than menu-based interaction. It's the only analogy I'm making to Roblox, nothing else.
No, that's not the analogy I would make.
It's going to have some challenges getting any type of scale here, particularly monetization-wise. Well, interesting to see what their monetization strategy is going to be. If it's just like cosmetic bullshit, like it's over.
No, there's real power score here. Like the whole game is based around power score. The whole game is geared around it. This is an RPG. This is obvious.
RPGs aren't they like super challenged right now?
Yeah, just look at MMOs. Forget RPGs. Collection-based like Upgrade Evo games are all do extremely well, but every other RPG, like the MMO style RPGs, are a disaster. Like anybody could look at comps and see that this game is not well suited for the current market. You have to believe like some like real leap of faith that tastes are going to change in this Western market, which tastes haven't changed for the last like 10 years, you know? It's really quite bizarre.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, I thought, it's early right now. We'll have more data next week, but the split fiction reviews are coming in and they are coming in hot. And if you're not familiar with this game, this is the new title from Hazelight, which has done a lot of co-op games and almost exclusively co-op games. If you remember, It Takes Two was their last title. And Joseph Fares,
it was a great game.
Yeah, it was an absolutely great game. Unravel, also a great game. They just have made banger after banger. It's embarrassing how good they've been at this. Also, Swedish studio, naturally. And one of the things that was pretty interesting in one of the podcasts he revealed is that of the 23 million sales for It Takes Two, 50% of them originated in China, which I was pretty shocked to see. And so let's see if Split Fiction, when it's on PC, is able to garner a large Chinese share.
Fable delayed to 2026. Not a shocker. Not really quite sure if Microsoft can make games anymore, but we'll see if they ever get this thing out, right? And when I say Microsoft, I mean studios that they have not acquired. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of excited. Like Fable is an old school like RPG that they just have not been good at like executing against. But yeah, we'll see how they can pull it off.
If I remember, the trailer got really negative reviews. Maybe that plays into it. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think the look at some of the characters.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Microsoft makes lots of mistakes. And one of their biggest mistakes is they don't really know how to manage studios, which is evident by what they did to Halo. The only studio that's actually done quite well is Forza, right? Which seems to execute pretty well, but
not Bethesda.
Bethesda's an own studio that they're their own entity, right?
Okay.
I'm talking about their internal studios that they've acquired before Bethesda, basically. Pre-Bethesda, pre-Activision.